study hall productivity. Let's take a look into that. What is your perspective on study halls?
My perspective on study hall is it's a good way to get your work done, and it's also a good way to see your friends and work on group projects. So you can see teachers, you can work on stuff you can't work on at home or anything like that.
Leave your work done so that you have less homework, and some cons are like you can get distracted easily if like people around you are busy. And
if you have study hall in the morning, you get breakfast. And cons, you can like, if you sit by a friend, you can mess around, I guess.
That's a con. Yeah.
Go on your phone, play games.
Yeah, there's really no cons.
It's not.
That's almost like
Matters how you use it.
Yeah, it matters.
It seems like these study halls are advantageous for our students, at least for the most part.
Well, actually, Katie, our camera crew has some pretty conclusive evidence that there was a bit of discrepancy between what the kids were saying and what they were actually doing. You see, we have quite a bit of footage of that group of boys during study hall that shows that instead of doing work, they were simply messing around the entire time.
Well, maybe it was just that specific group of students. Let's see what the teachers have to say about the subject.
I'm Flannery here with Mrs. Wise, and I would just like to ask you, how would you rate student productivity in ALL from a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel like it's about a 7.5. About 75% of students are using the time productively, and that other 30% is sitting there doing nothing.
Okay. So what would you say some of the pros and cons of ALL mandatory study hall time are?
Well, I think it's really important for kids to have downtime, and it really enables some of my art students to come in and get some additional time working in a studio.
How would you rate student productivity in your classroom during ALL time on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think my kids are pretty productive. You can go out there and look.
It seems that based on interviews alone, there is an overall positive look on study hall. People tend to focus on the benefits.
However, since our interview was only conducted at one high school, it's simply invalid to come to a conclusion. Let's go to internet fact checker Sophie Bazan to provide us with concrete evidence from outside sources.
In 2011, in which 77 of the total 120 students at John Paul II Catholic High School were interviewed. A majority of both students and coaches agreed that adding a study hall into student-athletes' schedules helped them to complete their homework and also helped their overall performance. Schools in Portland, Oregon are adding mandatory study halls rather than paying more teachers for classes, according to an OregonLive.com article by Betsy Hammond, published in 2011. This keeps the budget down, but also significantly increases class sizes. In the article, Reynolds High School principal Jeff Gilbert calls study halls holding tanks, in that, quote, academically it doesn't do a lot for students, and not a lot of studying goes on, end quote. On the other hand, according to educationworld.com, when a mandatory study hall was added to students' schedules at Cantwell Sacred Heart of Mary High School, the average GPA was raised by almost half of a point, and more students made honor roll, the school's honor roll changing from 32% to almost 50%. Article, High School Seniors, an Effective Use of Study Hall Time, published on August 1st, 2013. A study was done at a private high school in Washington, D.C. to examine the effects of study halls, student attitudes, and academic performance. They found that a majority of students saw study hall as free or wasted time. They used them as free periods to leave or to disrupt other classes. As a result of the problems, the author of the articles, Syed Al-Zakari, enacted a series of interventions, setting forth new plans to make study halls effective and productive uses of students' time.
Thank you, Sophie, for those enlightening outside resources.
I guess this wasn't as big of a problem as we might have initially thought. As the study seemed to suggest, study halls are actually a good thing, especially when it comes to how they affect student performance. Maybe I should let my kids take one of their study halls instead of taking a class next semester.
Well, Nikki, before you go that far, we need to look at both the interviews and the outside sources. There do seem to be some aspects of study hall that need to be addressed before it can be considered fully advantageous. Some students aren't making full use of their study halls and the resources provided to them.
Is there anything that you propose to make it better?
While I certainly do have some ideas, I think it would be beneficial for administrations to make study hall environments consistent, imposing rules on when phones can and can't be used, deciding whether students are allowed to talk during the study hall, and requiring students to have something to work on at all times.
Well, there you have it, folks. Study halls truly are beneficial for the most part. However, some changes need to be made. After the break, we'll tackle another crappy situation involving the junior girls' bathrooms at Highland High School.
Discrimination or a plumbing situation. We'll see you after the break.
And then move it like that. We like put it over and over again. It's like our blooper reel will be from today.
Now, this. We got ready to
Like a
Our chandeliers.
Ray, what is your take? I've smashed into it 3 times already.
There you go. Chandeliers. How low is too low?
You put it back to some music, have like a dubstep competition or something.
It's live television, but you want me to do the thing.